Yo, what's up, y'all? Buongiorno. Uh, Born shining here. I'm born shining. You're born shining. We're all born shining. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. And if they do try, they obviously they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Couple quick not early, but morning thoughts. But first, I want to give a shout out to the Great Spirit which moves through all things, universal life force. I want to give a shout out to Ra, the archangels, spirit guides, spirit team, crossed over loved ones and ancestors, and all my friends, known and unknown, seen and unseen. So while I was driving to work today, I had the thought of, I, well, my dreams last night. I've been dreaming about lacrosse a lot lately, and I feel like I'm going to be returning to that in some capacity. But it made me think about um, it brought up a few thoughts. First of all, the idea of the warrior, and the warrior is not the warrior is somebody that embraces. It's like you embrace conflict, but only after you've exhausted all the options to avoid conflict. And lacrosse players are warriors, but that doesn't mean that they run around stirring up shit trying to fight everybody that they can. And that brings up the other side of this, which is that lacrosse is not. I mean, they market lacrosse as a uh, training for war, which it is, and they would actually play lacrosse games in place of war with agreed upon rules. Um, that were agreed upon beforehand. Um, so it's not like they would play and anything goes and all these kinds of things. It was like they would agree on the field, they would agree on the number of players, they would agree on uh, how many goals. And so the idea of the game is that there is a winner, and it resolves conflicts. Like war is the ultimate last resort. So for the warrior, you don't you're not rushing into battle without thinking. I mean, it's the chief's job, right? It's the leader's job to avoid conflict where possible, when possible, while maintaining your dignity and respect. And it's the warrior's job to embrace conflict when those can't be met. And it's not a quick thing. I imagine negotiating doesn't happen overnight. But that also brings me to the other side of the equation, which is lacrosse is a game of healing, and it's deeply spiritual. Lacrosse was being played when the universe was created. So there's a deeply spiritual side of lacrosse, and behind the other team's goal, so if two teams are playing red and blue, and behind the blue team's goal would be the red team's medicine man, or at least this is what I read. And they would be trying to conjure the ball into the goal. So there's a spiritual component to the game, not just in the how it's tied to the creation story, but also in playing the game. And the winner was deemed to be just, or that's what the creator decided. So there's a spiritual component to this too, and which brings me to the second thing, and that is, I feel like there's a major suppression of spirituality, and spiritual things. Um, and it's just kind of interesting that like there's some kind of taboo with believing in believing in spirit and believing in invisible things, and at the same time it's okay to, or even encouraged in the mainstream anyway, to um, you know, manipulate your biology to appease people. Or it's so dysfunctional and disgusting to me. It's not very. It's pretty nasty. It's pretty nasty stuff. Um, and so yeah, I'm looking forward to organizing the spiritual community in ways that create a presence, a social presence, because I think there's a lot of people that believe in spirituality, yet because we're isolated, or even in small groups, we don't feel we feel like we're maybe not the majority, but I tend to believe otherwise. I think we are the majority. I mean, I've seen polls in the where a majority of people believe in a higher power, you know, and the people that I tend to talk to and gravitate towards also believe in a higher power, and they recognize what's going on around here. They see the dysfunction, and so I mean, I'm not proposing that we go to war or anything like that, but I am saying that there needs to be some sort of non-compliance or civil disobedience to these practices that are going on. I mean, I'm pretty sure that the United States is under attack from domestic terrorists, and there's a lot of people that are distracted. There's a lot of people that aren't distracted, but there's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of confusion, and we need some kind of cohesion to move this thing forward and start taking care of our people, start taking care of our land, and taking this serious, because I do believe this is heaven on earth, and this has the potential to become heaven on earth. I mean, I feel like I'm in heaven. Sometimes it doesn't look like it. When I talk with people, they think I'm crazy. But this place is so beautiful, and this experience is so amazing. When I see suffering and I see crazy things happening, like that can be prevented, or problems that persist where there's solutions have been created many years ago, I want to do something about it. So yeah, these are just some morning thoughts, and yeah, I think it's time to embrace spirituality. And I know that I'm not the first one to say that or do it, but it's definitely time to. I mean, if that means that you're weird, like, let's be weird together, because it just takes a small percentage of the population to make a huge change. You don't even need everybody, especially with the hundredth monkey effect. But there's been studies where small groups of people meet and they set an intention to make positive change in a local area or on a plant thousands of miles away, and it works. You can check out Lynn McTaggart. She's done this for a long time. So it doesn't even take the whole world. Like, you don't have to change everybody's mind. You just need a small group of very committed people to make this change. And I think it's time. And that I think there's a lot of people who are ready for this. And I think we'll be shocked at how easy it is to bring about this positive change. Not to say that there's not going to be any resistance, because people in power don't they're not going to be willing to give up their power, and if they were, we wouldn't be here, collectively. Wouldn't be looking at a lot of these situations. So I don't think it's going to just turn over, but at the same time, when I hear, I mean, I see this as like a cancer, you know, it's like a cancer on America and the world. And when these people heal their cancers and they heal their tumors, these things happen quick. It's not like it's a back and forth tug of war. Um, to my understanding, you set your intention, you follow through, and you get the results. And so I think that's where we're at, and I think that's what we need to start focusing on collectively, or at least in this small group. So embrace your spirituality. Um, don't be afraid to be weird and stick out, because you're allowing and setting the example for other people to do the same, to be their authentic self. All right, cool. All right, well, I'm gonna have to go back into work in a minute, so love y'all. Have a great day. Talk soon. Peace.